There we go. And this can go here. Alright. So let's hop in. And we can go ahead and skip the laning phase. Honestly, not that interesting. Obviously, I mean, the laning phase is just about simple movements, pulling creeps and stuff, but as mentioned, I'm gonna focus on your general decision making. Mid-game fights and look for the reasons why games don't work out. So, let's pause real quick. I think this was the first one here at the tower dive. I like the early blights don't pick up. If you do hit the tower, it boosts your damage a little bit. That's gonna make the Roche faster when you go for it. Right, so Clockwork messes up, you get a free kill on him. You actually brought out the recipe and the headdress, and finished with the gloves of haste from the side shop. As well as the clarity, and this is really nice. Like, it's great decision making. You keep your HP and your mana up, don't have to go back to base. Now he actually took the centaur instead of the off-wolf, not entirely sure why, but ultimately it doesn't make a big difference. So it's 9 minutes in, you smoke, and that's a very early and quick Roche. So things are looking great from here. Check out the last hits, you're keeping up. Only the axe was like a little bit ahead. Here even forced the Abaddon away from the lane. His ulti is popped, and you're able to pressure. Alright, this is okay. This was. It did feel a bit confident because you have the Aegis, I suppose, but this was still like if you died here once, there was a decent chance you'll die second time. Like they could have even TP'd in a fourth hero, but I get a bit lucky. Get away, it's fine. I head over to the mid lane. Storm dies before you get there, but there's still a fight, and nice ult from Pudge means that... Okay, actually the Andrew doesn't die, but you kill it, the axe, and you get Clockwork too. Lose the Aegis, so that's alright. So, at this point you're looking really good. It's 12 minutes in, very nice item timings, top of the net worth. You have your Dominator, and you pretty much have your Blink as well. Now, you feel confident to stay mid, but your ultimate is actually on cooldown. This is the big mistake. Also, notice that Axe had Blink in the last fight. It's okay to show on the lane like that. You kind of bait, like now they respawn, they saw you show it for a second, and big chance you baited some TPs, which is great. But now going for these creeps, especially when you have your Blink coming, like first of all, even if you didn't die, you don't want to reveal your Blink for no reason like that. There's no benefit to getting these last hits. Tower was not pressured. And here you actually just end up feeding a kill. You can say like, alright, your team should be ready to help you, but the team was actually preparing a smoke. And I mean, that's something you can see or communicate with them. Yeah, like this is just a very costly death. And your team still takes the fight without you, and it goes okay. I believe you trade 2 for 2. Let's see. You get the Abaddon kill, Slaughter goes down, you get the Axe kill, and Rubik goes down. So yeah, that's a 2 for 2, and that's with you dead, the top of the net worth on your team. So imagine if you're alive in that fight, and Mage actually wasn't there, that would be like a fight you can take very cleanly. A bit of a redeeming play here, killing the anti-mage. Recognizing that it blinked, pick up a free kill. It's quite nice, like you slow down his farm a lot, dead for 40 seconds, loses gold upon die. So that's, yeah, brings it back a bit, but still, like that death on mid is just very costly. Anyway, it's not game losing, one death. From here, what you need, like the way you need the game to progress is you need to start getting some objectives. Because sure, you're 4-1, which is good, you're top of the net worth, which is fine, but you haven't taken any towers yet. And in fact, you're the team that loses the tower first. And the tier 1 meta at that, which is like the most important tower. So again, staying top a little bit, like farming a creep wave after killing anti-mage for no reason. It's obviously use your TP, so you're not mid to defend that tower. Oh, here there's a fight. Try to go in, but yeah. Let's see actually what happens. Talk a little bit about fight decision making is. Alright, so you start hitting the Avalon just to force his ulti, which is nice, but then that leaves you in a position like that where you just call and yeah. Managed to survive, but forced to use ulti defensively. Storm does die, and that's all because you guys are hitting an Abaddon. Like, why hit the Abaddon? That guy is a support. It's really not worth hitting him. No, not even just about using your like spells or swipes or whatever. It's just by hitting him you reveal your position. And he actually went in and with ult on cooldown, which is a bit risky. But, yeah. So let's go further a bit. Again, like from the way the game is going so far, like the fights, to me it's pretty obvious that like, the one thing that really threatens you is the axe call, and that's where the. Alright, sorry about that. That's my phone. And that's where the Aghanims is, I feel, absolutely crucial. Obviously BKB doesn't help because Axe goes through it, but if you have an Axe, you just pop it every time you get called and you're not gonna take any damage. But you actually delay the Aghanims and you go for the Desolator, which, I mean, look, even here, like, it's just Axe call and Lone Druid hitting you. Axe doesn't even have a Blade Maul yet, and you almost died from that. And I think it should be fairly obvious that this is your biggest issue right now, and just rushing the Axe is a really good approach. So okay, Bot kinda goes in and use a bit of a throw by them, just feeding some kills. Pretty good movement, dodge the Axe call there. Try to zone the Abaddon. Okay, you guys get the Axe kill. Okay, here's another major mistake. So look at the situation, 3 enemy heroes dead, anti-mage is farming top. This is anti-mage, not gonna join any fight. And this Abaddon is out of mana, forced back with his ult on cooldown. So, okay, your team is just hitting a tower, you have the Dominator aura, your Blightstone, some minus armor, and you have your ult ready in case something bad happens. But the Axe is still dead, and Axe being your biggest issue, it means you're safe. But here, you blink and aggressively chase the Abaddon. Like, this blink is just really, really bad. Like, you want to get the tower, there's absolutely no reason to be there. And it can still be salvaged a little bit, like your Podge and Rubik actually are coming from here to help. But then you run away from them, so like the hook misses, that was gonna save you. And Rubik even had, like, he had lift ready, he had Abaddon shield ready. But since you ran away from him, he couldn't reach you to save you. So yeah, just really like focusing way too hard on this Abaddon, taking such huge risks that even if they pay off, it's still not worth it. Like, it's still much better to get the tower than kill Abaddon. Like, even the best case scenario, you kill the Abaddon, you still have to go back and you still don't get the tower because you're not hitting it and they respawn and they defend. So even if you kill the Abaddon, it's a mistake. But what happens is even worse. You don't kill the Abaddon and you die, and you do eventually get the tower, but yeah, it's just focusing on Abaddon unnecessarily. And again, here's the item choice, the Desolator. Like, I get that, you know, Desolator buffs your push, that makes it nice, but that's literally the only reason to get it this game. First of all, no one else on your team really benefits a lot from the minus armor. Like Storm, kind of, but that's about it. But you already have a Slardar, like, you already have minus armor, there's no need to get more. It doesn't solve any issues. Not to mention it gets countered by Abaddon ult removes the debuff. Abaddon shield removes the debuff. And that's a small factor though, but like... So yeah, now they smoke into Roche. I assume they will smoke because you guys are water, didn't react. Like, sure, this Desolator means you get this tower maybe, what, 10 seconds faster. I doubt it's even that much. But what does it matter, because they just split, like... And now... Like, okay, look at this kill, for example. You your 5th swipe hit already killed him. Well, 1 left, and it killed him with like overkill, like it did more than more than twice what HP he had left. So that clockwork kill happens whether you have a Desolator or not. And now you go for the right play, you go for the Aghanim split. Or like this AM kill. Like this AM kill happens, like 2 hits it took. Okay, that's because Desolator. Without Desolator it takes 3 or 4 hits. But you would have gotten those hits in, because you have max attack speed and he was stunned. So like, there's no situation yet in which the Desolator allowed you to do something you wouldn't be able to do without it. And here you, like, just this launcher deals so much damage, you actually end up dying, because this Avalon maxed this first ball, just to chase you down, auto school down. And again, like, this was a situation where if you had Aghanims, first of all, more HP, but more importantly, lower cooldown on the ult. Your ult would have been ready there, and that means you would have survived. So it's already a second cost of death. Let's get your team fighting without you. You actually killed the Avalon for Rubik, just like even-ish trade. Okay, nice, you get the Lone Druid kill, but again, like your ult is cooldown here, you have to be careful. You managed to get the clockwork too, but at this point, okay, actually, that cog push was fairly lucky. You are stuck, but it did also save you in a way. So you want to get the anti-mage. Not really happening. Okay, push on mid. Still the issue though is like you don't have the Aghanims. 23 minutes in, you top net with on your team, but you're tied with Lone Druid, and Lone Druid makes much better use of farm. And here again, like, I mean, okay, you see the Avalon, but the entire enemy team is alive, everything around you is fog, and it's just an Avalon. And he's the lowest net worth on his team. There is like no reason to actually go from here. But you do. Okay, what happens in the process? Shield pops, he hits you a bit, you're slowed, you're half HP. Then boom, axe call. And yeah, you cannot ulti because again, like, you don't have the Aghanims yet, and he pops Blade Maul and you're just dead without even getting your ult off. And once you die, you're the highest net worth on your team. If the highest net worth on a team dies first in a fight, like that fight is usually guaranteed to be lost. Unless there's like very equal farm distribution, but obviously it's not equal at all in this case. Rubik and Podge have very low net worth. They don't contribute much to fights. And after this 4th death, you're already like in a pretty rough position. I'm not sure if Roche was up there. Would have been worth checking at least. Okay, it was not up. But if you look at how these fights go, it's just again, okay, almost kill the anti-mage, kinda gets lucky with Manta, but even if you did kill him, it's... Your team just loses steam at this point, then you have to run. Like, once your ulti is down, you really can't do much in these fights. That's why the Aghanim is so crucial, because you're actually able to do stuff more often. Like again, like this axe goes in and you can't even hit him because of the blade maul. So another call and he was there. So pretty much every single death was due to a call, except this one here where it was Lone Druid Avalon chasing you. But the 4 out of your 5 deaths were due to axe call, and they could be prevented with an Aghanims. Now you got the Desolator really quickly. Let's check out the stats. You got the Desolator at 19 minutes, and this was before. Actually, if I do this, it's better. Okay, you got it at 19 minutes when you had only died twice. Which, I mean, again, like, that's the turn happened, but the game was still okay at this point. But then you die 2 more times, 3 more times before finishing. Actually, never finish the eggs before the game ends. Okay, at the very end. Now, Desolator, you already have the Blightstone, but okay, 2 hammers cost 3.2k. Eggs is 4.2k, so imagine instead of 90-minute Deso, it could be a 20-minute eggs or 21, 22-minute eggs. If you have eggs at this stage, like, just the other deaths don't happen. You stay alive in the fights, your team has more damage, and who knows, the game might go differently. You can start working into a basher, hunt down the AM. Yeah, it's a rough game for sure, but like these small deaths, when you're the position 1 of your team, a hero like Ursa that's meant to snowball, it's like every time you die, it's just, you lose so much. It's the same in a way. You can compare it to playing like a Tinker or an Ember, where you're constantly pushing the map. What often happens is if you get picked off once, you either have to buy back, or you just lose a Rex, or you lose Roche, or you lose like, a bunch of towers. It's the way the heroes function. Like, you apply a lot of pressure, but the moment you die, all the pressure is gone, and the enemy team is free to do whatever they want. So this was the Ursa game. Now let's check out the next one, the Jugger game. Now this one I actually haven't seen. Draft wise, lineups look pretty solid on both sides, I would say. Obviously this lineup is really good. Like, you have the Nake's Bomb, you have SF, which is the sieging carry to go with the Lifestealer pairs nicely, minus armor, stacking both of them. And then you even have Earth Spirit for extra control and teamfight, follow up disables, helps the laning, and you have a Coral to push out lanes and basically give the sustain once you have Aghanims, but also like push lanes in order for the Nake's Bombs to actually be able to work out, because then the lanes are pushed, people have to defend. But at the same time, like, the Dire lineup is also quite good. You have Jugger, who's really good at pushing waves, has the immunity, a bit vulnerable to this minus armor, but at the same time really good against the Coral and the Earth Spirit, and even Slaughter. Like, obviously Blade Fury dispels and Manta, you have like 2 different ways to dispel stuff. You have the Invoker, which again pairs well with the Jugger core. Jugger is like frontline in fights, and Invoker boosts the damage roll with alacrity, and then also offers the magical damage from spells, forcing out BKB from the SF. Then you have Centaur, which is a very solid offlaner, has a stun, and Maiden Riki for extra control. Riki silence being very effective against the Lifestealer, so possibly only weakness that the Dire lineup is a little bit weaker at pushing lanes. I mean, Centaur's actually, I wouldn't say they're that much weaker. Like, Riki is useless, but Centaur's really good, Jugger's really good, CM is okay, and Invoker becomes really good once you get some spells up. So all in all, I would say, like, lineup wise, it looks very equal, so it should be a good replay to watch. Where the outcome really depends on, yeah, gameplay and execution. So, let's see. By the way, guys, I fixed the donation follow alerts, so should see the pop-ups now. Alright, so again, let's go into player perspective. We can always speed through the laning stage just in case something unusual happens, just to be able to note of it. Laning against Slaughter. Okay, actually getting first blooded. Now, first of all, CM is like obviously a support that wants to start really. I mean, you can see that she's actually on the going for the pull. It's an unfortunate death. I mean, you tanked the creep silence with the initial Slaughter stun. Could have maybe Tango there, might have saved you. But either way, it's hard. Now here, you still don't have spin, and the exact same thing happens. Like, you have to learn from the first time, actually. It's also a bit of the XP nerf on the creeps, but either way, it's like not all the creeps actually died. There was a double wave, triple wave even. So you were still not level 2. In fact, CM missed out on both range creep XP. I mean, now, okay, actually, I didn't expect anything unusual, but yeah, this really hurts in the laning stage. And it's also why you don't skill crit before you actually see what happened, because you had the crit skilled walking into the lane. Crit level 1 can be good if you're sure that it's one guy, but for those situations, obviously, if you have spin, you won't die. And that's why you have to be just, yeah, don't spend your skill point too early. Anyway, it's not not game losing by any means. It sucks, like dying twice like that slows you down, gives the starter an unnecessary edge, but it's not game defining by any means. So just more farming at this point. I don't think anything else happens. So you have phase boots at level 6, this is the part where you really want the TP scroll. For example, looking at bottom, this lifestealer is initiating us. I'd actually get him without you, but say they didn't have enough damage or red mana or whatever. That's a case where you want to be able to TP in. So definitely need to be having a TP scroll the moment you hit level 6. Right now you buy it when you actually do want to TP in. It's fine, but like it's still a little bit slow. And you know, if you have it ready, you might have reacted 1 second faster. And it might have been the difference necessary. So more laning. Okay, get an UTP scroll, that's good. Working on the Dominator. Now you see, actually I'm not sure that's a bug, I guess you don't see yellow, you don't see blue. But you see Riki as well as Lifestealer as well as Earth Spirit bottom. And those two are like the biggest threat for you. So seeing them actually should be the green light for you to go and pressure the tower. And this pulling is good if you're like, if there are more people in the lane and you want to deny them experience. But if there's just one guy, you can easily force the slaughter out of the lane and apply a bit more pressure. I like that you're spamming the Blade Fury because you have Maiden Aura. I'll say this game is the game to opt for the tanky talents. Like, I'm not sure, we'll see if you go for the armor or not. The armor is definitely a must against Shadowfiend, Lifestealer, Slaughter. You have to get the armor. Damage versus health, a little bit debatable. I mean, damage is really nice, helps with push, getting these early kills. But yeah, the health is just can be a big difference maker, and your team offers a lot of damage already. It's not like you lack damage. You're gonna have alacrity buffing you and stuff, so here, just okay, unfortunately, missed kill attempt. I don't know what to say about that. Invoker is doing well though. Switch over to net worth. Keeping up with CS, so we're up there with net worth too. Invoker is actually ahead. So at this point you have a Dominator, I'm not sure which creep you want to go for. But let's see. Okay, you get the catapult so you can pressure the tower. Good choice. So you have Ward, you see the Earth Spirit and Lifestealer coming. Just back off. Space crit, force rotations, it's good, form some jungle. Right, spin aggressively because they left. Get the tower. Good stuff. I could have had the last hit, but oh, that happens. Go for a solo kill on this guy with the Stampede, nice. There's center that does feed bottom though, but you see a lot of heroes bottom, so you like to push this, that's great. This is a bit of a risky spin though, because I mean you saw them bottom, but they might be coming already, and yeah, here's the Spirit. You end up surviving, but still, if you don't have perfect vision or like you're perfectly aware that they can't gank you, want to be careful with using spin to damage the tower. Just because you want to have that spin TP out obviously ready. Omnislash was cooldown, so probably couldn't have done much even with the TP. Although the tower doesn't end up dying, so that's actually a mistake. Like, okay, they dive the Invoker. First of all, you should have your camera there. Like, no reason to look at the neutrals that you're hitting. Let's see what's actually going on in mid lane. And if you move, you actually notice that, okay, Shadowfiend has DD. It's kind of rough, like Slaughter is there, but Slaughter has low HP, and you never know, like just going there might have been enough to actually save the tower. But yeah, the DD makes it hard, so you look for the cuddle. Still, this is the stage where I would like you to go a bit more with your team. Again, like Centaur dying on the shrine, just not really Invoker's still dead, so not the greatest fight, but Coral's not there either. And you should at the very least like look at what's happening. Invoker actually does TP in there. You still don't see it, and Invoker just dies again. I mean, okay, you get the kill on the Coral, but you might even get this tower, which is decent. I mean, the Coral kill doesn't matter too much. Getting the tower is good, obviously, but you also lose your tower. And imagine if you... So you trade towers, but your Invoker and Centaur died. Now imagine you TP there, you're there for the fight. You don't get the top tower, but you can win the fight. Your teammates don't die, and you save the tower. So again, instead of trading towers, no one loses the tower, but you actually win the fight. So you actually come out ahead. And in this case, you actually did not come out ahead because you traded towers, but you lost your most farmed hero, the Invoker, and he's no longer your most farmed. So you do go for the armor. That's smart. Correct choice. Pick a Mantis. Still, either time is looking quite solid. Only died twice, which was like the initial laning deaths. Right here, I'm not sure. Okay, we go for this, but again, team is dying. I mean, this time it was an X bomb, so it just blew up. UTPing could not have helped too much. And yeah, with the Invoker that you can't really defend anymore, so applying pressure here is the correct choice. Now they're going for Roche. Like this. Slaughter though, so it's really quick. Good on Sesh, but I infested the invisible Shadow Fiend. Yeah, this is where I'm not sure why didn't you spin. You were actually amped there. Oh, that could have easily survived. Okay, that's a small mistake. It has very huge impact. Was that a replay bug? Because it showed that you had mana. Okay, right here you have mana. I guess you're saving it a bit, but okay, then comes the stun. Then comes the mana leak. Okay, you still have mana. Yeah, you actually run out of mana as you're running, okay. Kind of focused on activating the shrine, which is fine, but really that spin needs to come out as soon as you get amped. Because your Mantis cooldown, you can remove it in Mantle. You have to remove that amp. Like, if you spin, there's no amp, there's no way you die. And Invoker does kill the Lifestealer, gets a double kill. Show how the rest of the fight develops, but okay, gets a triple kill. In fact, there's gonna be a fourth. Maybe, no, okay. Still, Invoker gets triple kill. If you survive this, that's a really good fight. But dying here is quite costly, like, you lose gold, you give the SF gold. And the fight's still favorable a little bit, but it could have been much more favorable. That was just unnecessary death. Now this guy's ages, so like let's think what your goal is here. Also, you click on him, you see he's quite farmed. You can't really just trade and force him back because he just hits harder and he's tankier. So you wanna bring TP support, but he's always not gonna be alone. Yeah, this is that's rough. Like you have to think about what actually the likeliest outcomes are here. First of all, if he's hitting this. I mean, you already see the slaughter here on the main map, honestly, but yeah, you see him running it. But if this guy's hitting the tower, like, he's obviously not alone. You see that bottom is pushed in, no one is there. Mid is pushing in past the river, no one is there. They have to be behind him. And he has an Aegis, so it's just a tower that you cannot defend. You have to accept, right? You have to give up this tower. It sucks losing towers, but this is way worse because you go into a fight, you have zero chance of winning. Because your Invoker and your Centaur are not there. And you don't have vision of the rest of your team. So now what happens is you lose the tier 2 as well, yeah. Like, because you're dead and your team cannot fight without you. So what could have been just giving up the tier 1 but then getting ready in time to defend the tier 2, also split push other lanes, force them back, etc. Instead of that, it's a death and losing the tier 2 on top of the tier 1. And that just, yeah. The gold graph must not be looking that great. Actually, it was still in your favor, now it's going back to even. But yeah. And I'm working on the diffusal blades. Really not sure why. Like, the old Diffusal obviously would have been great. Extra ways to dispel Mana Leak, Slaughter Ramp, Silence, Whisper with open wounds and whatnot, but yeah, obviously the new Diffusal only works on enemies, so it's really not the item here that you should be going for. Just doesn't give you any HP, any survivability. It gives you like 4 armor, but that's nothing. And on top of that, Shadow Fiend already has a BKB, which means he's not affected by Mana Burn. And Life Stealer has Rage, also not affected by Mana Burn. Can't purge them either. And those are the two guys that you're gonna be most commonly hitting. Now let's say you were jumping a backline Koro or something, you wanna bring down quickly with the help of the purge, okay, but for that you need a Blink Dagger, and you don't have a Blink Dagger, so how are you gonna jump the backline? It's not gonna happen. So Diffusal definitely a bad item pickup here. Okay, deep into the fight, get a free slaughter kill. Looks like a decent start. Bit of hesitation, not sure why, but already one guy dead. And move in, nice, drop the healing ward, pop spin, dodge a lot of Requiem damage. Maiden still ends up going down, and you guys don't really get more. Did force BKBs though. And now they're going for your shrines. Fight is continuing kind of awkwardly. Pacing about. Not sure why you're playing this far back. Like, you see enemies are kind of low and they're not committing hard, or they're using spells on Centaur. Could've maybe run in and actually try to deal some damage, and if not, then just start sprinting bottom and pushing that lane. Kinda like running around in that fight didn't help much. But yeah, like this is where the Diffusal is just not really doing much. Alternative item choice, okay, like Dying Heroes. It's just, yeah. Entire map is black, bottom pushing and no one destroying there. And you have your Manta ready, like there's nothing stopping you from popping Manta and letting that push the lane while you run, like stay out of vision. At the very least, if you do show up in a place like this, you need to have your finger ready on the spin, so you can maybe dodge the stun and get out and like at least bait them to reveal. Though that's just so risky, and if you're really confident in your reflex, it could pay off, but it's still very risky. Just another unnecessary death, and like as mentioned, if you're the position 1 dying like this, can easily result in losing major objectives. Team tries to slow them down, but can really do a whole lot, and they actually end up getting jumped before you respawn. You don't have buyback this whole time, right? Yeah. And that's just game over right here. Again, you could have had a chance to stay in the game if your team stayed back, let them get the first racks, wait for you to respawn, and then play. It would have been really hard though, either way. And here you get 2 kills, and look how easy it is if you're actually playing with the team. But yeah, I mean, just that one death, like this one move here, kind of can decide the whole game, as we just saw. Like, doing this, boom, lose 2 racks. Again, if your team played it better, it could have been only 1 racks, but what the point is that, you know, you're losing major objectives just because of one unnecessary death. And like, pushing lanes is great, but that's what you have Manta for. And if it was just about farming quickly, then that's obviously never worth it and just game losing scenario. Again, if you had some different item choice apart from the Diffusal, could be maybe a quicker Blink Dagger, although it might lack a little bit of damage, but you could just jump the backlines, jump the call on the Sashim or whatever. Or Deer Spirit. It will make you a bit more survivable for pushing as well. Other option would be like the classic Maelstrom into eventual Mjolnir. I'd say Maelstrom into Blink into Mjolnir is probably the most conventional. Although it could have been also great game for Butterfly or Skadi, which will actually tank you up a lot. But yeah, Diffusal just definitely not 3k gold for very marginal benefit. So yeah, basically these deaths, if I had to analyze, it's just too many deaths where you don't really... deaths that are that's only happening because of mistakes, like not the death that you get anything out of. Obviously you're gonna die some games where like you die but your team wins the fight and they get an objective, like that's an acceptable death. But if you die and you lose an objective and you don't get anything out of dying, then it's just a mistake. And it shouldn't happen when you're a core like this. You're position 1 or 2. Again, it's a bit different, of course, when you have like some extreme cases, like let's say you have a farming like Radiance Alchemist or Naga, and you know it's all you have to do is stall the game so they get online and can carry. And then at those cases you might make like, okay, dying to make space, you know, could sometimes be worth it, but generally in your average pop, it's just never. My team is still holding on and take some decent fights, but 2 racks down, it's just really hard to recover from the pops.